Yeah, but that's life, see? People will find their way around these rules and regulations. It's the nature of humans, isn't it, to be like cunning like that. Yeah, there you go, that's Tower Bridge, there. And as we come around, you notice that building we're facing, looks like it's going to fall over. That's the Town Hall for London, that is the new one. City Hall, it cost 42 million quid, that cost. And the home of the GLA and the Mayor of London, who's the present incumbent is Boris Johnson, of course. That's the small building, isn't it? Quite small. Do you know who designed that? Lord Norman Foster. He's the same geezer, the same fella who designed the building to the right-hand side, that rocket-shaped thing. See the bullet shape? That's what they call a gherkin. That is the erotic gherkin. Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. That's the little bit of Bob's done there, isn't it? So that's the Tower of London on the right. There we can leave that castle behind us. Over 900 years old, that little castle. Brilliant place to visit. Lots of history there. 22 towers. Loads of stuff. 900 years old. There's the pier we just departed from. That's Tower Pier on the right. And as we press on that river, see the ship on the left-hand side. Can't really miss it, can you? This is London's own warship. In the war, she was up on the Russian convoys to Murmansk and Archangel. And she's a great old ship. Yeah. So she's on the D-Day landings as well. She ferried Sir Winston Churchill several times over to the beaches at Normandy. So she's been about the old girl, hasn't she? Well retired now. HMS Belfast, the last of the big gun cruisers, they call it.
It's small.
Well, have a look on the right-hand side. We've got that longish sort of building behind the trees. That is the custom house of the Pool of London, where we are now. Well, not used for shipping, of course, but what the customs do is use the massive great cellars to store the goods. They take off the smugglers, drugs, tobacco and alcohol. Then they burn it all in the big incinerators. Although the rumour has it their Christmas parties are phenomenal. But we cannot dwell upon that too long. And next door to that, the yellow brick building with the fish up the top, that was the old Billingsgate Fish Market. Up until about 25 years ago, there had been a market here from down. John Harvard, the son of a local butcher, and later his library started at university in Cambridge, Massachusetts. There you go. That's a link with America, see? And the little ship in the dock bay, well, that's a nice little vessel for kids. That's the Golden Hind, that is. Now, many people think it's a model. Well, it ain't a model. It's a full-size working version of Sir Francis Drake's ship, which is the very first English ship that went right the way around the world, got back in 1580. He was a jolly good sailor, Drake. Bit of a chatterbox though. I mean, he went round the world in 3 years, could have done it in 3 months. But he was fetching up and chatting to people. Chit-chat here and a chit-chat there. You know, the roof is made of thatch. See the roof's made of thatch like reeds? That is the first building they're allowed to have thatch in London for 350 odd years, yeah? Yeah, that's because of the Great Fire, see, all that stuff like that. That's special rules and regulations had to be bent so they can do that, yeah. Ah, now this is the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. This is the Millennium Bridge. They opened this bridge here a few years ago on a Saturday morning, and then the police had to come along the following Monday morning and shut it down again because it wobbled all over the place. They've de-wobbleised it now and de-wibbled it as well, so it doesn't wibble and wobble. The other sad thing is when they built it, they blocked our view to the right of St Paul's Cathedral. We can't see St Paul's now. They stuck the bridge right away. Look, so look at that. Well, I'll have a look at it. So we can't see St Paul's too well, glimpse it, of course you can obviously glimpse it, but a great church to come back to if you get half a chance. That's nearly 300 years old, you know, St Paul's, and there's been a church on that hill, this might interest you, for some 1400 years. 1,400 years, yeah, amazing, isn't it? Back to 604. That's amazing, isn't it? Do you know who designed that? Of course, obviously Wren. Really now it's this ginormous great structure, this huge great wheel, which is the, well, when they built it, it was the biggest observatory in the world. It's the London Eye, stands, the topmost cars be something like 135 metres above the ground. It's just a breath under 450 feet. It's got 32 pods, and at any one time it could be on the eye something like 800 people. It takes half an hour to chunt around, because they're built for British Airways, they call it a flight, yeah. And it's very, very popular. If you fancy having a go, it's about 15 quid to go in the car. It's about 15 quid, yeah. Or £3 to go on the outside, but there's not a lot of people doing the outside. That is cheaper but riskier. See the risk is there. Because you could lose your grip halfway there, and well, back goes your money, see? In English, some 500 years ago. This is the book they now say has formed the foundation of the English language. Well, it's spoken around the world, as you know, by a couple of billion people. And also, if you still these Star Trek films, spoken by mates of the known galaxy. Although with a slight American accent. The funny thing is, out of the trillions of people who do speak English, the ones that don't, they come on our boat. Now that's funny, isn't it? Well, it ain't really funny, but I thought I'd tell you about it. Now, some of the gear we want to show people is not so easy to see this time of the year, it's not too good. For instance, on the right, you're looking through the trees, difficult to see through the trees, buildings. But if you could glimpse one or two, these are what they call the chambers for the barristers. This is the legal bit of London called the Temple. Has been since about the 14th century, oh yeah. But what we can show you, and it's interesting as well, is just up on the right here, on the river wall, is a stone archway called Temple Arch. You can see that? That's the boundary line marker between the city of London we're leaving now and entering the city of Westminster. If you're really lucky, you might spot through the trees before the archway the silver dragons, of which there are two. You may see one on both. The dragons there. Tricky to see, I understand that. So here we are, leaving one city, City of London, entering the City of Westminster. Very different cities, of course. The City of London is pretty easy, it's commercial, it's nearly 2,000 years old. The City of Westminster, this is more to do with the palaces up there. Kings and Queens lived here in Westminster. Dukes and Earls, Lords and Ladies, Movers and Shakers, Palace of Westminster. And you can begin to see, if you look very carefully at the building, the beauty of why they've got gold on these buildings.
That's where our fishies are.
Because the finials begin to light up.
Where you found Nemo?
The lower the sun gets, the more the finials.
But we don't have time to go there.
Finials there, see? Whenever that depict Sherlock Holmes and the other Victorian detective and that. Scotland Yard there. Yeah. Not here no more. Of course, they moved them out of here, blimey, it must be 40 years ago, into what is known as New Scotland Yard. Sad to tell you though, that when I come back to check the old Scotland Yard out quite thoroughly, from chimney pot to cellar, they have discovered that all the toilet seats have been stolen. And that is a crime that will never be solved because the police ain't got nothing to go on. That's sad, isn't it? Right. Even sadder, we're about to finish our little journey. There you go, come round now, we'll be alongside the pier at the moment too. On this pier, because we're slightly boxed out of our berth here, we're going to have to get out the front of the boat. I know once you got on the back of the boat, but here, because of the way we're configured, we have to get you out the front of the boat. So